Hi there, welcome back. So in this video, Wayne is going to demonstrate how to make a lovely afternoon tea tray. You can see at the moment there are 3 moulds to make the tiers, the different the tiered levels of the tray. Actually decided in the end we're not going to use the biggest, we're just going to use the medium size and the small. Using Tea Expert resin, we've managed to get it crystal clear by putting it through the Resiner's bubble removing machine. There we go. And also going to just decant a little bit into that silicone jug so we can then add some white Vista, Polar White Vista pigment, resin pigment paste to it. There we go. He's going to have another go at doing the flower bloom technique with resin. So tried this previously and it was okay for a first attempt. I thought he was quite brave actually attempting it. He did do that previous and had some mixed results with it, but thought he'd give it another go just to see how this would work out, so keeping fingers crossed. So just adding a couple of little drops to the resin and then we'll stir it up, check the consistency of it and the opacity to see is it as deeply pigmented as he wants. So there we go. Yep. He's just putting that, he's used a couple of little mini, I think there's a coffee stirrer sticks to do that. So there we are. What the next step is to pour the crystal clear resin into these 2 moulds. So do make sure that your moulds are clean and clear. Best way to remove any kind of debris is just by using some tape. There we go. Just removing a few things. There we are. And he's just pouring that in now. So just pouring it in now, just the resin, the clear resin into both of the moulds. Take it steady. I was just removing a hair there. That's the perils of living with pets, with dogs and cats, unfortunately. Always make sure, as you can see, he's wearing some gloves to protect his skin. Make sure that you also wear a respirator, which he does, and that you work in a well-ventilated room. You really need to protect yourself, as I have learnt. When you're using resin or any kind of chemicals. So there we go, just pouring in some resin, and at this point weren't sure if we'd made up enough, so he stopped pouring it into that mould. I'm just moving it slightly to the right, and he's going to pour it into the next mould here, the medium-sized one. There we go, and just need to see if it goes out to the outside edges of the mould, because obviously it does need to. You can help it along on its journey. You can probably see up to the top left he's got a silicone tipped brush which he may use to go around the edge of the moulds just to make sure that there's enough resin in there and it has reached the edges of the moulds. You can also use that to remove any little foreign debris or bubbles that appear. You can also use a long necked lighter, never ever a torch. Like a blowtorch. Use a long neck lighter to disperse any bubbles if you see any. There we go. So there he is. He's just popping a couple of the little surface bubbles that have come up. Good. And then in this particular video, he's decided to follow by using only 1 selection of colours, not 2 this time, and they're all across the pinks and reds hue of colours. So the colours that he's using will be appearing now on the left hand side of this screen, and anything else that he's used in this demonstration will also appear in the description box. There we go. These are beautiful colours, shades of pinks. So we are. All we're going to do is just put some drops into the surface of the resin. There we go. There we are, just dropping them onto the surface of the resin, and they will spread out, they'll dissipate outwards. There we go. And into the smaller one. Just drop, drop, drop. Take your time when you're doing this. There we go. And then he's going to use the next one. And now, there we go. There we are, this is the second one. So he did say to me he wished he'd stayed just going around the edges of the mould with this rather than following the edge of where the previous alcohol ink had spread to. But nothing is ever uniform in nature and in life, so and everything is individual. But the end result, when you see it, I'm hoping you'll agree with me, it looked truly stunning, and it will be a piece that we'll have a lot of problems actually giving it away or selling it. There we go. Just finishing dropping in those bits into the smaller one. Wow, look how that's... You see how the colour fades and it expands and spreads and it just gets paler. So this is with the final colour, just going in again, dropping it into the mould on top of the surface of the resin, and then a colour spreads out. And then again in the small one, we are almost done with the alcohol inks. And then that will be left to spread out a bit further. There we go. Now he's going to start from the centre and outwards. Oh, and there we go. He's just pouring that like in a circular motion. It always comes out like a wiggly circular line though, for some reason. There we go. And then drawing it in from the outside in towards the centre using the silicone tipped brush. And then what he will do is he will go from the centre outwards. And there we are. Then from the centre outwards, a bit like the numbers on a clock face really. So there should be about 12, I think. Lines, that's it. And then the same thing with the larger size mould. And from the outside in. There we go. And then cleaning your brush each time. There we go. From the middle out to the outside edge. I just love the patterns these create. But you never know, because of course resin will continue to move. So what you see now is not necessarily what you'll get at the end. So here we are the following day. It's fully, well, it's about 3/4 of the way cured. So it's still slightly pliable. He had resin left over, so he made a coaster. There we go. I think that looks beautiful, although he wasn't overly happy because you've got a white blob there. But it is beautiful, and now he's pushing it down in to the bowl. It's not quite as pliable as the ones before. So rather a lot of effort, but managed eventually to push it down into this little bowl to try and make it into a little trinket bowl. There we go. Just pushing it down and then leave it to fully cure, probably for another day or so, until it is completely hardened and cured. So here we are demoulding the smallest mould. And there's that little hole in the centre. That's so that you can put the fixing through it that creates the distance between the two trays. And that fitting is what you can see up in the top right hand corner of your screen. So that's the wrong side and that's the right side. And it's stunning. I love it. I absolutely adore this. And it's going to be really difficult selling it or gifting it away. Yes, I think that's gorgeous. And I can't think what flower it is it reminds me of, whether it's a lily or an orchid, or maybe it's both that I'm thinking of. Here's the larger one. So just carefully moving, demoulding this. This has obviously been sped up. There we go. And this one, the hole didn't remain in the middle. So he did carefully push the fixing through. So that looks beautiful. And that's gorgeous as well. I know Wayne wasn't overly happy with some of the larger blobs on this, but I actually think the two of them go so well together. So well together because they've got the same colours, same sort of theme. And here we go. So he's just going to fix the I don't know what you would call that actually, but he's going to fix the final part so that it creates it from being just two coasters or flat trays into being the tiered tray that you can see him doing there. He was just screwing that part through, applying making sure that he's putting the bottom piece in with the washers. As I said before, everything is available from the description box of what we've used, and most of these fixings come from Amazon. So there we are. Just making sure it's nice and tight. Very simple to put through. And here we are. Here is our final shot. So I really hope like me, you think these are adorable. They are gorgeous. They would look great displaying anything from an afternoon tea to some petit fours to some macarons to some special bonbon sweeties. Thanks again for watching and tuning. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and see us again for another video. Take care. Bye bye.